Hey everybody, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending upon what time, you are watching. We are live on Facebook. Let me shut that down. That's not gonna work. All right. We are live on Facebook. It is Wednesday, June the 16th, and we are presenting to you celebrating Black literacy, our narratives matter. So, we have a show prepared for you tonight. As always, we have the most phenomenal, amazing, beautiful, and talented authors, beautiful Black women tonight that will be sharing with you their journey as an author. Celebrating Black literacy is all about celebrating Black authors in their work. This platform was created for us to be our true, authentic selves and to tell our story in our way. So we want you to right now prepare to engage. We want you to prepare to celebrate. We want you to share the video. Take some time and share this live. Maybe you have some friends that need some inspiration tonight, that need to be uplifted, that need to be, get some motivation. Well, this is the show for you. I am your host, Manisha King with the King's Press LLC. I hold the title of co-founder and director of marketing and promotions. So this is one of our ways of promoting authors worldwide. I am always excited to speak to authors. I think they have the most, I would say, vivid imaginations, the most eloquent stories and images, so it's all about bringing you into their world tonight. So let's go ahead and get excited. If you are watching and this is your first time, welcome. If you are watching a replay, we're happy that you took the time to watch it. If you are returning, I was going to say visitor. We're getting outside now, so we have visitors with some of the events, whoop, whoop, which that's exciting. How many of you have been back out in public? Doesn't it feel amazing? So we still bring to you this virtual platform, but the gist of what I was saying is I totally forgot the point that I was making, but we're glad. Oh, if you are watching and you're coming back, you're returning viewer was the word I was looking for. Thank you so much. We're always excited for you to be here and to engage and support these authors. We're always excited for you to give feedback and to share in this experience and this journey with us. So, as I said, please go ahead and share. While you are doing that, I am going to invite the authors back. They are patiently waiting in the waiting room. But just before I do that, let me share a little bit about the King's Press Publishing. In case you are new and you haven't heard of us, we are a family-owned publishing company in Charlotte, North Carolina. We are a small company. We call us, well, we say we are a publishing house that creates platforms for the unsung hero, yes, the voiceless and the invisible, so people would think. But however, we are taking that by storm with these amazing authors, with showing you that we have a voice and we are, relevant and we do matter. So that's what I love about celebrating Black literacy. We have a few other platforms, so you can join us tomorrow evening on Authors Chat. That is our new series happening once on a Thursday, once a month on Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. And then next week, we are presenting or bringing to you Kids Talk Tuesdays once again. We will have a lovely, why did I say leather? Lovely kid author. I'm always blown away by these talented children. They are amazing. So they are promoting their books as well. That is at 6 p.m. on next Tuesday, the 22nd, I believe that's the date. So join us for any of these, as well as if you are an author and you have a story and you want some help writing, or you need a ghostwriter, or you're just looking for publishing, or you're looking for consulting, or how do I format my book? How do I, make sure that my audience, or the readers are getting the message that I want to present? We can help you. We have services built just for you. And so you can follow us or go and connect with us on www.kingspresspublishing.com. And we will be right available. We won't be right there, but we will be available to assist you in any capacity. So let's go over to bring in these authors for this evening and get this show started. Thank you so much for your patience, ladies. Hey, we're waiting on some to turn their videos back on, and you can unmute yourselves and just say hey to the audience. Good evening, ladies.
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
Hey.
Good. Welcome. How's everybody doing this evening?
Doing very well. How are you?
Very well. Awesome. So let's get this show started. Thank you guys for being patient. We are now live on Facebook, and we are ready for you to just share your word and message and yourself with the world. So let's get started. You introduce yourselves. We'll start with Miss Tiffany.
Well, hello, Queens. It's an honor and a pleasure to be a part of this panel. It's always good when I can be with other women that are doing positive things and encouraging other people and changing the world. So I'm just thankful to be a part of the panel. And my name, like she said, is Tiffany Turnbull Kennedy, and I'm better known as Tough Tiff from my family and friends. I've been affectionately called that for years because of all the different things that I have been through throughout my life. I have went through a lot of different challenges, but because of the grace of God, I was able to overcome a lot of those things. And because of that, that's why my nickname is Tough Tiff. But I was born and raised on the south side of Chicago. So all I know is Chicago, the Windy City. And my parents were awesome. They're no longer here. Their name was Elvin Turnbull and Dolores Turnbull. I have one sibling, my sister Trina, and we're very close. She's my best friend. And I've been married now for 25 years to my wonderful husband, and we are very supportive of each other. And I really do appreciate him in my life. And we also have two sons, Roosevelt the fourth and Ryan. And I'm very active with my church, which is Salem Baptist Church. So I'd like to give a shout out to my Salem Baptist Church family and my pastor, Reverend Meeks. And I'm just so happy to be a part of this because this is something very positive that we're doing. But just to tell you a little bit more about me, I'm a motivational speaker, and I definitely like to encourage and inspire people. So that's one thing I do. And I'm also a podcast host. I created a new show starting last year, October 2020, called Tiff the Truth. It come on every Monday, and I just talk to ordinary people, but they have extraordinary lives and they have stories that need to be shared. And I'm just glad that I have a listening platform that they can use to share their stories. Mm-hmm. But besides that, I'm also an ordained minister. I officiate weddings, and I'm also a professional model and a commentator. So if anybody have any fashion shows and you need a commentator, holla at your girl, because I do that. And also, but last but not least, I am an author. I write children books, and I'm also a narrator for children books as well. So I kind of like a Jackie of all trades. I do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I just love people. I like being around people. I like I said, I like to encourage people. I like to work in a community. I'm one of those people that like to get dirty. I like to roll my sleeves up and get out there and make some changes, make things happen. So I'm really a doer, not a talker. So that's pretty much it about me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Your energy is so infectious. So I'm sure people are blessed to have you around and involved.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Our next author. Miss
Hi,
Barry?
I'm Barry Ross. Hi, good evening, and thank all of you for joining us and taking time out of your day to spend with us. I think that's very special with everything that's going on now. Um, I am the mother of two beautiful daughters.
Mhm.
They are amazing women, and I am so proud of them. I am also married. I've been married now to my husband for 20 years. And I am a world traveler. This last year has been hard on me
Mm. Oh,
because
yeah.
I like to travel, I like to fly, I like to go and experience places. Um, and this COVID and the shutdown was traumatic.
Mhm.
But by the grace of God, none of my family, no one was touched by the COVID. So I'm
Wow.
grateful for that.
Yes.
Um, I too am a speaker. I'm a speaker. I am a patient advocate at one of the major hospitals here. I'm in Atlanta,
Okay.
and I'm a patient advocate, which is a kind of a new word for people.
Mhm.
But when people are come to the hospital, especially cancer patients, which I am a 10-year survivor of cancer, but when they come to the hospital and they have a lot of questions and the doctors don't have time to answer, or the nurses don't have time to answer, and really the person you want to talk to is somebody who's been through it
Yes.
and that
Mhm.
can advocate for you and your family and for caregivers. And that's primarily what I do. I work with patients and I work with caregivers, but I also communicate with the doctors and the staff for things to get better. And we know COVID unveiled it, but we know as African Americans, there's great disparity in care
Mm.
at hospitals,
Mhm.
just
Right.
tremendous disparity. And we're working very hard to be heard throughout the medical field, just to be heard and represented. And that's one of the things that I do.
Wow.
Um, I'm one of those people, I don't watch television because I'm busy reading and writing. I too am an author. And I don't think that there's a lot I can learn from television. I'm more like Tiffany. I need to get out and talk to people and be with people and hear their stories and share their stories as well as my own. So I'm excited to be here this evening. I look forward to hearing from these other queens
Yes.
about their work and their lives. And thank you. Thank you so much, Maisha, for doing this. This is
You're
awesome.
very welcome.
It
You're
is
welcome.
awesome.
And I'm so happy to have you here. And I just can't wait to hear more about your story in your book. But I do want to say, because as I was reading myself before bringing you on as a guest, I was just blown away. And I just feel like, um, what you do, even in advocating for patients, is so invaluable. So we're just blessed to have you here tonight.
Thank you.
Yes. And
Thank you.
10-year survivor. What? Girl,
Yeah.
you better praise God for that.
Oh, I do
That's like,
every day. Every
girl, that's a
day I wake
blessing.
up. My motto every day. I wake up with an attitude of gratitude before my feet
Wow.
hit the floor.
That's right.
Amen.
Yes.
You
Amen.
you
Yes.
you have a purpose in life, and that's why
Thank
you
you.
still here.
Thank you.
Yes. And we are now going to allow Erica, if you will introduce yourself.
I feel like I have nothing to say. You two amazing queens just like shut me down. Like I just want to be like, no, let me listen to your story. I'm Erica. I am from Baltimore, Maryland. Yay.
Woo, Marilyn.
Yay.
Um, I'm just getting my foot in the door in life. Period. I am 32 years young. I am a mother of a 13-year-old. So I'm dealing with a teenager and COVID. So,
Mm.
but
Prayers.
I am a graduate from an HBCU school. I went to Coppin State University, and I'm going back to finish my master's degree in the fall. Um, let's see what else about me. It's not my story is just beginning. I really feel like I'm just getting into it. My major is criminal justice. Being as though I was raised in an urban community, the hood, I feel like the justice scale is definitely not equally yoked for us all. I wanted to get into criminal justice because of that, and because I'm raising an African American son and I need to be able to protect him at all costs. I know as a mom, we do that anyway, but I want to make sure I know the legal side of how
Mm-hmm.
to get this done. I will be, I am 13 credits away from my master's, so next year, hopefully, I'll be graduating. Um, thank you. I started right. I am an author. I did start writing relatively young, because of what I was reading at the time. Back when I was growing up, you had your Triple Crown production books and your Zane books, and I probably was too young to read any of them. And I would read these stories, and I would always think, like, when I grow up, that's the life I'ma live. Did
Mm-hmm.
not happen like that. I kind of thank God it didn't, because I was reading some rough stuff. But as far as myself, I think I'm right now I'm in case management. I work with the homeless population here in Baltimore. It's kind of a segue away from what my degree is in, but it has brought so much light to other people's life. Like, you go through life and you doing your thing and you have your problems, you have your troubles, and you don't really understand or pay attention or even think about what other people might be going through. Like,
Mhm.
I used to wake up and be like, oh gosh, I gotta go to work. And now it's like, yeah, let me go to work so I can help someone not be
Mm-hmm.
homeless today. So
Mhm.
Right.
I'm learning so much about myself, about this world in general as I go. And I'm just so blessed to be in this panel tonight with you amazing queens, and I'm excited to learn about you and read your stories and listen to your stories. And Tough Tiff, I love you already. Like,
I love you too.
I'm really excited, and Manisha, this is great. I'm so glad you did this. I'm so glad I reached out. I'm so glad we were able to collaborate and connect.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I'm
Yes.
glad for you to be here. And you are so modest and humble, but you have so many amazing, you know, attributes and things to share with others. And I know what you working with the homeless. I mean, that's not an easy task
Mm-hmm.
by
It's
any
amazing.
means, and that you
Right.
have the heart to give and pour out. That's fascinating to me.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I really had to learn empathy, because coming from a criminal justice background, if I tell you to do something, you have to do it or you're going back to jail.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I have to be, empathetic and sympathetic. So
Mm-hmm.
when I say this has been an eye opener, and like, I'm learning so much about myself within my clients, and it's just amazing how in my city, like, they are kind of like just pushed to the side. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just
Mm-hmm.
learning so much.
Wow.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. And our final author for the evening to introduce herself.
I kind of feel like you, Erica. I mean, all of this amazing. No, I don't know if there's anything else I can say. However, I am truly grateful and honored. My name is Christina Worth. I reside currently in Dallas, Texas. I am a fellow mother of a teenager, Erica, so I understand, except she's 16. So yeah, those days are real. Some days you want to question,
Yeah.
what am I doing this right, or where did I miss? But I am the oldest child of three. I have a younger brother and sister. My parents were both military, Army, and the Marines. So
Mm.
you would definitely say I was somewhat of a military brat. I was raised in Arkansas, surrounded by family. So I truly did have a village in that effort. Um, I am the founder of a nonprofit organization for girls 8 to 17 called Mahogany Angels. And we focus on really building and pouring into the girls the essentials of just being a young lady, getting back to the basics of how to take care of yourselves as a lady, how to believe in yourself, how to love yourself. And in doing so, you can also learn how to love others. Oftentimes, the biggest and greatest deficit that we have is that we are in competition with each other instead of doing it together as one, and loving and supporting each other along the way. So our goal is to take them as young as we can and begin to pour into them, and then to be an asset to their community, and reinforce what parents, grandparents, guardians are already teaching them. I am very active in my church here in Dallas, Christian Temple of Faith, an amazing and effortlessly great group of people who believe in making sure that Jesus is the main attraction, while also pouring back into the community and communities that surround us. I have a food business called Southern Delight that I've taken the unique Southern cuisines and put my own little artistic twist to them just to have fun. My daughter gave it the slogan, "One bite will get you right." And so I have that. And then also, just as you amazing ladies are, I am an author. That is not a place in life that I thought. This entire journey is eye-opening and encouraging. I'm a generally very shy person. So Miss Manisha, I thank you because I'm in a season of faith walking where I literally just trust God and follow his instructions, no matter how uncomfortable it makes me according to what I'm accustomed to. So I am in a space of being comfortable, being uncomfortable. So I am grateful. Writing has allowed me to heal, to be restored, but also to inspire and encourage others, which is what my heart is that it is devoted to the people and helping and encouraging them to move forward. So I'm beyond grateful for the opportunity and the willingness that you have of using your platform to allow myself and others to be able to shed light on what we do and present our stories to the world.
Yes, awesome.
That is awesome.
Y'all are so funny, like, oh, I don't have much. And then it's like, and I'm a caterer and I'm changing young girls' lives and I'm out here. So I love it. That is fantastic. I really love that, you put yourself in a position to give back to the younger women. As older women, we're supposed to definitely be role models and then also teach and train them. And I feel like that's lost a lot of times in the church. Of course, I grew up in the church. A lot of us talked about faith as we were even introducing ourselves. I love the Lord. But I noticed that just coming up, there's not a lot of the women taking the younger women and teaching them and training them. So I am so inspired by what you're doing, Christina. And I'm happy that you're here as well. Y'all awesome.
You are too, Manisha.
Thanks. I love it. I love it. So let's get into these books. Let's learn about what are you writing? What's your book about? We'll start off again with Tiffany.
Well, you know what? Something I wanted to say before I get started talking about the books is why we celebrate Black literacy. I think it's important because our stories and narratives matter. They need to be shared. They need to be told. Our young people need to know that there are stories out here that they can read and that they will be able to recognize and relate to. And it's good when our children can read stories where they see characters that look like them, because now they're able to picture themselves as this character and they can go through that journey with the characters as they read it. Because a lot of times you can read something, but to be able to comprehend it is a whole different thing. So that's why I think it's so important for us to celebrate this time with Black literacy, because it is reading. I mean, reading is a fundamental skill, and it is something very important for our young people as well as for us, So I think this is just a good program. And thank you again, Manisha, for just allowing us to have this opportunity to share our stories. So at this time, I would like to say, I take my crown and I crown you back for being awesome.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. That was so unexpected and so beautiful. And I'm glad you brought it back to the celebrating Black literacy. And what you said was definitely the reason why, when you always talk about why, it's like not only for our children, but even our community to understand that, there are, we have people out here that are writing and that want to be honest about who we are and want to make sure that our stories don't, they're not whitewashed and our history is told by us. And then so it's going continuing a legacy in our families, so people can read and see like, okay, You know, these people have been on the move, from the beginning of time, but we continue to move and we continue to make things move. We make mountains move, right?
Yes, we do. Yes, we
So
do.
I love it. Let's hear about your book. How are you moving your mountains, Miss Tiffany?
Okay. So actually, I have two books. So the first one is called No School for Evil Eraser. I don't know if everybody can see it.
Mm-hmm.
And the second book is part two, which is called Be Good, Evil Eraser, Be Good. So I have always been a writer, since childhood. I've always been one to write poetry, to write in a diary, write journals. I always have different stories and ideas that come in my mind. And that's what really got me into writing. And so a lot of times I would just jot things down and I didn't know what it was about or what it was going to come into or what I was going to make of it. But as I got older, then I realized, okay, I'm telling stories and I need to share these stories. And so what really inspired me to write these two stories was actually my son. That's my youngest son, Ryan. And when he was in grade school, he used to have a thing where he would play with his little toys. And I would watch him and he would just be interacting with them like they was real. And that's what came, to me. And I said, this will be an interesting story to write about. So I said, what if I use school supplies that would come to life inside of a book bag? And that would be their world. And so they have to deal with the different challenges of life inside the book bag. But then on the outside, my son, he's going to have to deal with the issues that he's dealing with. And so it was almost like two stories in one. So the first book, No School for Evil Eraser, it's about my son being excited about going to school. He's going to be a fourth grader and he's excited about the big day. And so his mother, which is me, told him, make sure you pack your book bag so you can be ready for the next day. So after he packed his book bag, he goes to sleep. And when he goes to sleep, that's when the story began. So all the school supplies inside the book bag, they come to life. So inside this book bag is a world full of vivid colors and just everything. It's just a beautiful world. It's a world that we wish we can live in. And so they're dealing with their own challenges. And there's one particular school supply, which is the Evil Eraser. He's the bad guy. He's the bully. He don't want to, play with no one. He's jealous. He's mean. He wants to mistreat the other school supplies. And so he had this evil idea that if I get rid of all the other school supplies, I would be the only school supply that would go to school with RJ. And RJ is the main character, which is my son. And so he did what he did. And I don't want to give away too much of the story for people that's interested in buying a book or listening to it on audio. But he comes up with an evil idea. And that's the first part of the book. And so with this book, it's very helpful in school, as well as in the classroom, as well as at home, because it's teaching life lessons to children. And a lot of, believe it or not, our young people go through a lot of things. And I thought it was important to talk about life lessons like, just being honest, just being nice, just, being a good friend, not being mean, not being disrespectful, and especially not being a bully, because bullying is a serious issue that a lot of our young people are dealing with in school. And unfortunately, a lot of our young people have harmed themselves. Some have tried to harm themselves because they feel like they're alone. They feel like they don't have anyone they can talk to say, I'm being mistreated, I'm being teased, I'm being, beat up at school. So I wanted to think of a story where it's educational, but at the same time, it's entertaining, but it still have those valuable lessons that young people need to learn. And so that was my main focus with the first book. I was like, let's teach some life lessons, things that the young people can take away. And these will be things that can help them to be productive adults, as they get older, being a good friend, being respectful, being honest, being nice, appreciating your friends, So that was the first book. But at the end, the Evil Eraser, he's going to learn his lesson. And that's where part two comes in. and that's called Be Good, Eva Eraser, Be Good. So now the bully is going to get bullied. And you know how it goes. It's okay to dish it out. But when it happens to you, now you don't like it. So it was okay when he was doing bad things to his friends. But when the tables was turned in part 2, he didn't like it. And so that's the lesson he's going to learn in part 2. And it was a hard lesson, but it is a reality check. But again, it's another life lesson, because we all, have seen that. We've all seen that people who have mistreated or bullied someone or didn't treat someone so nice. And, it's our job to step up and to say something and to help someone that might feel like they don't have a voice. And so that's what these stories were for, to encourage people that feel like they're being bullied or they're alone or they don't have anyone to talk to. Because to me, reading is a gift. It's a way to, just to disappear, I should say, and just, get into your imagination and be creative. And so the stories, they're very, fun. Like I said, they're very educational, but at the same time, they're teaching life lessons, and there's a lot of hidden treasures in the story. So when you're reading the story, you'll see certain symbols or certain things. You'll be like, oh, okay, I know what this is. I know what that. And like I said, the school supplies, that's something that really gets the children's attention, because they're going to remember those characters and they'll know what their different moods were, or how they treated each other, or what kind of things they did. And these are things that help with comprehension skills. This help with increasing vocabulary. This help them to make predictions and stories, how to figure out who's the main idea, So I just wanted to think of ways that would benefit them, but also be entertaining, because children, we know they have a short attention span. So we have to think of ways to make it fun, but still educational. And so that's pretty much what my 2 books are about. Just teaching life lessons.
Creative. What age group, or would you say your book is targeting?
So the first book, No School for Eva Eraser, this is from preschool through 4th grade. But anyone that's young at heart, even adults, they will enjoy it, because it's a very good book to read, like just doing family time. You're at home with your family and you want to read a book, this will be a good book for that. Also, the second book, this is more for older kids. So this is from 5th grade through 8th grade, because it's a little more mature. Some of the pictures might scare someone that's a little bit younger, because they're bullies. So they're not going to look so nice. Okay. So yeah, it just kind of depends. But the main thing is it still picks up from the first book picks up from this, it goes on with the second book, because it's a continuation. So it's learning what's going to happen to the bully in the second book. And my third book is almost completed, and that's going to be the final part of this series. And that's called I'm My Brother's Keeper. And that's going to talk about the relationship that my 2 boys have, because they have such a special bond. So it's called I'm My Brother's Keeper. So it's going to talk about their relationship, being close as brothers, and why brothers should be close. But it's also going to talk about the characters in the book and how they're going to relate to the Eva Eraser. Will they forgive him? Will they allow him to be their friend again? So again, it's still life lessons. It's still 2 stories in one, because you have the characters that's going through things, and then you have RK, who's the main character that's going through things as well.
That's fantastic. I love it. So Miss Cheryl Jones is watching. Hey, Miss Jones, she says, wonderful women of substance. Congratulations to you all, and I wish you much success.
Oh, thank you so much, Ms. Jones. I appreciate that. And also my books are also available as audiobooks, and I was blessed to narrate my own books. So you can actually listen to me narrate while you read the book, and I'm very animated, I tell you.
That's cool. That's cool. I love it. Thank you so much. Miss Berry.
Hey.
Hey.
Well, first of all, why is celebrating Black literacy important to me? It's because, I guess, as Tiffany said, we need to tell our own stories. And if we let somebody else tell our stories, they end up being the star of our stories, i.e. the help. Okay. Black women should have told that stories. They should not have been the supporting actresses in that movie at all. That was their story to tell, but somebody else told it. And, you know, the same thing with Hidden Figures. That book, those stories should have been written by those women, not interpreted and then brought in other characters. So I write memoir, and I think it's important for us to write memoirs and tell our own stories and tell our secrets, the family secrets, the shame, the community secrets, the anything that's going on in our lives. Because I think that's reality TV. The stuff that they're showing is not reality TV. It's scripted. It's written by white men, white women, anybody else. So I celebrate. I think it's important to celebrate Black authors. I think it's important to celebrate Black history, Black future, Black present. Okay. I think all of that is important, and nobody can do that but us. My book is a memoir. It's called Stronger with Two. You see the cover.
Yes, beautiful.
Yes, purple. I love it.
And the reason it's purple and pink is because it's about my husband and my journey through cancer. And I always use that word through, like in the Bible, you know, yea, though I walk through.
That's right.
Through, keep going.
That's right.
And I thought it was important because, and what makes our story unique is that we were both diagnosed with cancer, deadly cancers, 72 hours apart.
Wow.
In 2009. So I got my diagnosis first, and I had no symptoms. My husband was symptomatic, and he was trying to get a diagnosis. And I got my diagnosis on a Thursday, Wednesday or Thursday, of late stage head and neck cancer, which was so rare. And then 72 hours later, he got his diagnosis of leukemia. And so we both had to be treated. We both were brought to Atlanta to be treated because we were out in Phoenix, and they weren't going to treat me. As a Black woman, they were writing me off, and there's no hope for you, and we don't take your insurance, and all of these kinds of conversations. But God, my daughter worked here at Emory and flew me out here. They took me, no insurance questions. And then 72 hours later, when my husband got his diagnosis, they brought him too. But God.
But God, amen.
God. And so we went through the valley. I almost, seriously, I got, it wasn't just the cancer, but there were other complications. And we got through it. And what I decided with everything I've learned, what is Robin Roberts says, make your mess your message. And what I learned about how dismissive the whole medical field is about African Americans. And it's been uncovered from COVID, you know, the numbers, and they're saying the numbers of African American people that were dying. It's been uncovered. The medical field knew it all along, but now they're trying to address it. And so with going through everything I went through, I decided to become a patient advocate, to speak for patients, to talk to patients, to try to give them some comfort in their caregivers, but also to talk to doctors who think, you know, we know medicine, we know science, yeah, but you don't know your patients. And you need to take a look, because everything, even when I was going through and asking questions and them talking about it, everything doesn't show up on a CAT scan.
Wow.
Everything doesn't show up on a blood test. You know your body better than any test will ever be able to demonstrate. And so my job is to get them to listen to us. I can't get them to care about us, but I get them to listen to us and to take our concerns seriously, and to take our family seriously, and our community seriously. And that is my advocacy, and that is my work. And my story through the book leads me to that. and it leads me forward.
Wow. That's amazing. And I have so many questions for you, but as you were talking, and thank you again for what you do. How do you think that this has been covered so long, and why now there's beginning to be more light shed on these issues?
I think it's been covered. I think it's been covered so long, again, because our lives weren't seen as worth anything, weren't seen as equal.
Mhm.
Or the fact that they didn't want to deal with why African Americans don't go to the doctors. They
Mm.
don't want to deal with the Tuskegees. They don't
Mm.
want to deal with all of the other trauma and all of the other things. They want to blame the patient. Oh, if you just did this. They don't
Mm.
want to educate themselves, nor do they want to educate the patients. So
Mm.
I'm doctor, I say you do.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Or you don't do. And if you die,
Yeah. Wow.
you die.
Wow.
Because one of the things that's definitely been uncovered, and I do want to leave the others some time, but we as African American women die of breast cancer 3 times the amount that the Caucasian women do. We
Mm.
die at crazy numbers. And one of the things they know is that the cancer we get, the breast cancer we get, is not the same as the breast cancer the Caucasian women get.
Mm.
Ours is more virulent. Ours is more deadly. It's called triple negative. It's called triple negative breast cancer, and it's very aggressive.
Wow.
It's that way with the men with the prostate cancer. It's that way with the overall cancer. We die at numbers totally out of proportion to our population.
Wow. Well, thank you. I'm sure I have more questions for you
Okay.
after the show too. But thank you so much. And Miss Erica, you ready?
Y'all ready to come on the wild side? Because this is
Come on, bring us over.
so I'm an urban fiction author. So we about to get not about to be a little grown upish over here.
Uh-oh.
So these are my 2 books. Wait, let me put them in order. So the title of my books are Good Girls with Hood Habits, Part 1 and Part 2. Part 2 was just released on Mother's Day. The I so let me go back. The synopsis of the book, or the how the book goes. In book 1, you're introduced to 3 different main characters. They're all women. They all fall in love or have some type of relationship with a hood habit, which is, the guy that's on the wrong side of the track, the one your mama warned you about that you're not supposed to mess with. I got the concept. If you know me, each one of the females in the book, or the women in the book, has a bit of my personality, and of course the situations are exaggerated. However, I feel like, as a woman living in the city that I live in, there's always, I'm a good girl. It's just every once in a while I get the itch to mess with someone I'm not supposed to mess with. So that was the idea of the book. I've been writing since I was 12. Probably writing stuff I shouldn't have been writing about back then. That's just because of the books that I had to my that I had in front of me. Those were the books that I was reading. And at first I was like, my mom would be like, well, you don't need to be reading that at all. And then a guidance counselor of mine in middle school was like, well, at least she's reading it. Because girls her age aren't reading at all, so they're out, probably actually doing what's in the book anyway. So that's my take on Black literacy. Like, as long as we are reading, we're telling a story. It doesn't matter if it's the I'm woke stories, or if it's entertainment purposes. I just feel like we need to write our stories, get them out, so that our children are reading something. It's not every book is going to be, you know, about history. Some stuff you just want to entertain, like you just want
Right.
entertainment for it. So that's my take. That's me, the urban fiction novelist of the group.
Okay.
Part three is coming out the end of this year. So part two, so the way I did part one, you meet all three of them. It kind of goes from one character story to the next character story to the next one, and then part two breaks off, and you read about two main characters, the guy and the girl. So part two is Good Girls with Hood Habits. Welcome home, Key. Key is one of the main women in part one. However, situations happen. She gets kidnapped. She gets taken to Cuba, and then her husband, who is the Hood Habit, and her father and all her family has to like get her back. But she's tired of waiting. Like she's not the damsel in distress. She's like, if I gotta kill, rob, steal, whatever, I'm getting out of this situation. And she goes on this crazy journey, and she helped other women that has been kidnapped get back to where they need to get back. And then they get back to Baltimore, and this drug empire is there waiting for them to conquer. And I'm not going to go too far in it, but I've had good reviews about it. I'm actually thinking about putting it on Audible. I don't think I would want to hear my voice for two books. So I don't think it would be me doing it. I'm definitely looking into it because I've had people ask about it. This is going to be a 4-book series. Part three comes out the end of this year. Part four will be out hopefully the beginning of next year. I have notebooks on top of notebooks filled with short stories and poems. I'm just getting the heart to put it out there. Like Christina said, I'm getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. I'm not in the public eye. I don't like it at all. So this is like really major to me. I'm an ambivert, where like I'm introverted and extroverted at the same time. So that's me. But yep, I've been writing for years. I'm just starting to get it out. I'm excited of this journey. I've done some pop-up shops where I've had great success, and like I said, my reviews on Amazon is pretty good, so I'm excited.
Yeah, good, good. So some of these habits, these hood habits, as you what are some of those? I know we don't want to share too much because we want definitely people to support you all and get your books, but can you give us a few?
Sure. So, uh, one of my characters, her, I can go with the, I go through the characters. Leilani, she's my favorite because I think she tends to be me more. She falls in love with a hood habit named Common, and no, I'm sorry, Byron, and he's in the jail because she works in the jail, and he's in the jail, and they have this relationship that they're not supposed to have, but he's using her, and
Okay.
you'll read their roller coaster. And then Keisha, who is a fan favorite, she marries Bishop. She's on track to be a lawyer, but then she meets him at like a client meeting because she's like assistant to his actual lawyer. She falls in love, but he gets out. So she technically didn't do anything wrong because he
Okay.
got out.
Okay.
But they're definitely on different sides of the track. And then the last one is Ebony. She's my family dynamic. I want more kids. Like I know it's kind of crazy that my son is 13, and I'm like, I want 4 more, but
Wow.
not literally full. Wait, let me not speak that into existence, because you know you speak it into existence and you'll pop up before kids. I want more kids, but Ebony what I thought my life would be with my son's father, with the kids, the marriage, and then something goes wrong and he ends up in prison, and she has to hold him down, and she has to get her family involved. So he technically was the good guy, and she kind of was the hood habit.
Okay.
Really, but then it kind of switches because he ends up in prison for a small amount of time, but their life is crazy because she
Okay.
ends up having 6 kids.
Okay.
Wow. Oh, they
So,
were busy.
Mr. Tyler Perry, Erica is writing some content for some of these shows and these movies you're putting out there. Get in touch with Erica Dyer.
Yes. Send him.
So it seems like something that I could see him, producing. But thank you for sharing that. Last but not least, Miss Christina, tell us about your book.
Okay. I didn't actually categorize myself as any type of particular author. I've actually written both children's books, and this book that I recently released is actually the first book to my newest adult series. And so I have had the pleasure and the enjoyment of being able to go wherever my mind takes me. But the journey is always to be encouraging. It is to give you love. It is to give you laughter. It is to give you some frustration and some anger, because those are all still emotions that we experience. But it is to ultimately leave you encouraged and inspired. My two previous children's books are Pretty Brown Girl and Black Boy Joy. Speaking to the reason why we would celebrate Black literacy is just getting more books out there by us, for us, so that our children can see something that they can relate to, and that they understand. We often read books from individuals that don't look like us, and they're made to be able to relate to anyone. However, we want our books to be able to do the same. I want you to read my story, and regardless of what color you are, you can relate in some shape, form, or fashion. But it becomes a household name, just like those other books that aren't written by us. So when I chose to write Pretty Brown Girl and Black Boy Joy, they are really a book of affirmations for our children. But the words transcend from I have them from like 5 up, but the words transcend across any age bracket, because sometimes as adults, we need to be reminded of how amazing we are. And so those words, when you're reading them to your children, they resonate, because what we read, we subconsciously hear. Even if we're thinking that we're reading it, we hear those words too. So not only are we pointing into our children, but we're then in return pointing back into ourselves with those words of positive affirmations and so on. And so I actually have a children's journal that will be coming out this summer, as well as a new children's book called We Are Diamonds in the Rough. And in anything, it is to celebrate our Blackness, not to run from it, not to feed into the negativity that society oftentimes try to present to us, but to understand how great and amazing we are, and to continue forward in believing and understanding that. And so those are my children's books. But for my first adult book, it is going to be His Peace, Her Poison is the title. And this is the book cover here. It is under my name, Christina Louise. Now, that is the middle name that I ran from for years, and I actually now use it as my writer's name. But like you, Erica, my main character, her name is Leilani. And so I often have categorized it as being fictitious facts. And so the reason I did that is because there is a lot of fiction, but I take inspiration from everything, from what I see to what I hear to what I encounter to what I touch. There is inspiration in absolutely everything. And so I feed off of that. There are right now 8 books in this series that I have finished 5 already. So they are in process of being published at this moment. But Leilani is just an everyday girl, just like everyone else. She is going on this journey of wanting to be able to be loved, but healthy love. And far too often we fall for love, but it is not healthy love that we find. And so we have this great thing as Black women of being strong, of taking care of nurturing others, of loving everybody. However, we too often forget about ourselves. And then when we do make mistakes, we can't forgive ourselves. So it's about speaking of forgiveness of self, because that's the greatest forgiveness. We oftentimes can forgive everybody else but ourselves. And we carry that, and it festers and it builds, and we begin to then act on it. And so Leilani is going to give you love. She's going to give you laughter. She's going to give you frustration. She's going to give you side eyes, because you're going to be like, girl, I don't understand. What is this that is happening with you? And why are you still here? Honey, get out. You know, you're going to talk to her as you would your girlfriend, your daughter. You're going to have those conversations while you're reading it. But when you get to the end, it is utmost to be like, wow, at some point or in some phase of her journey, I understand. I get it, but here we are. And just as she does, I want you to be inspired and encouraged. There are other characters that I introduced in the beginning of the book, but I love to take it off. And there is not a topic that I've not decided to elaborate on and touch on, because especially in our community, there are certain things that we feel shouldn't be touched on or swept under the rug. And it's about bringing those things to light. I speak on mental health, which in the Black community is oftentimes shunned upon. You're called crazy or what's wrong with you, when it is a realistic thing that oftentimes defeats so many of us. And we can't defeat what we won't address. So until we face it, it will always be a victor over us. But once we begin to face it, we can then become victorious over it. And so these books are meant to speak life, speak truth and transparency, but give you love and laughter. When you're going through things, it may not be funny, but once you get to a space that you've made it through and you think back on it, you find the humor in the situation. And not in that moment, trust me. You're like, okay, there's nothing funny about this. But once you can make it through to the other side and find peace in it, there is a humor in everything that we do in life. Even in those things that seem so tragic, there is some sort of light and laughter and love in it. So these books are meant to do just that. Take you on a journey. They're short reads. I am going to make them into audiobooks. I am an animated character. Miss Tiffany, I'm right there with you, girl.
That's what I'm talking about. We're going to have to network then.
To hear me tell a story is interesting, to say the least. My little country slang and twang in my accent tends to come out. So it definitely gives you laughter, whether it's pertaining to the story or just me as the individual telling you the story. Right. But I am excited about it. And so eager to share with everyone what Leilani and the other characters are going to, adventures they are going to encounter.
Wow. It sounds like an awesome read, and just how you presented it to us with so much power, and just makes you like, oh, I gotta get that book. So make sure you grab, you said His Peace, Her Poison.
It is called His Peace, Her Poison. It is available at Books A Million. It's on Amazon. It is at Barnes & Noble as well.
Okay, awesome. And where can people get in touch with you, Christina? How can they follow you?
You can find, I am on Instagram, I am on Facebook, both are under Christina Louise. I have a picture of myself, and then my books are also attached to my pages also.
Okay, phenomenal. And Erica, where are we following you, and how are we purchasing your book?
I am on Instagram. It's Erica Reads, ERICA READS_. I had a brain slip there. On Facebook, it's just Erica ERICA. My books are at Target.com, Walmart.com, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Goodreads. I know I'm missing some. Here locally in Baltimore, we are at Urban Reads Bookstore on Greenmount Avenue, and at Jay's Books located in Northeast Market. And Barnes & Noble Pikesville has the book actually in stores.
Awesome. Girl, get your books out there. Love it. How about you, Miss Tiffany? Where are we following you, connecting, and how can we purchase your books? I think you might have said it, but
no, actually, you can find me everywhere. I'm on Facebook under Tiffany Kennedy. I'm on Instagram. I'm everywhere. Just look for Tiffany Kennedy, or you can also find me under my podcast show, Tiff the Truth. You can also leave a message with me there as well. And my books are located everywhere. You just type in No School for Eva Eraser or Be Good Eva Eraser, and it comes right up. It's available everywhere. My audiobooks are available on Amazon, Audible, and iTunes. So yeah, it's everywhere. Yeah.
Phenomenal. Great, 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 great. And Miss Barry,
Yes, you
how
can
are we
follow
following?
me on Facebook at Stronger with Two, and on Instagram, Stronger with Two. And my other on Facebook is Barry Roberts. And the book is at Amazon, it's at Walmart, it's at Goodreads, it's at Barnes and Noble, the Books a Million, all the regular places.
Awesome, awesome. So you guys have been doing some work and putting your books in some spaces to get more exposure and definitely diversify because a lot of times authors are we're on Amazon and then of course we have our websites, but I would like you all to also put those things in there, and then I'm going to pick your brain on how or who's working behind the scenes and getting your books in these spaces. Excuse me, I was tongue tied. Do you all have marketing agents or are you just doing this yourselves?
I market my own self,
Okay.
because I just wanted to take the middleman out.
Okay.
So I just know how to promote myself. And so whenever I do like special events with my books, I make sure I get the information out there. And I really have a lot of support, when it comes to my books. And I really do appreciate my books have done very well. And now my audio books are doing well. But me personally, I think it's best when you can just do it yourself. I don't think anyone can do it better than you when it comes to promoting your business.
Okay.
I do a lot of my marketing, but I also have a publisher who did a lot of the groundwork for getting me in a lot of different places, and we're to this day still sending out emails of where can I go, can I be, can you put my book on your shelf. My publisher is really good with that. Also, my mom is my number one promoter. Like she done got people in church to buy this book, and I just don't understand what's going on. And it's kind of like I'm little old Erica from when I was this tall, and now I'm buying my books, and I'm like, did you really read that? Like, did you read that?
Okay, now they know about you, Erica.
Okay.
The shield is off. They know I'm not so good.
Awesome.
I do kind of like Erica. I have a publisher, so they do marketing. But I've taken a moment also to I do some marketing myself, but I also invested with various promotional companies that are in the surrounding area that I allowed to do partnered with to do promotions as well. And Erica, your mom sounds like my mama. I gave her first book and she sold it. And then she had sold books before I had got the books to her. And she was just like, yeah, mom is one of my biggest fans. And so people are buying books. And she was like, I just told them, okay. And I was like, Mom, I don't know if she's giving them options or she's just telling them that they have to buy it. So I don't know which part of that it is, but I know she's selling them very well. But yeah, I've definitely publisher that myself, and then investing in myself also by reaching out and partnering, networking with various pop-up shops as well as various promotional companies in the surrounding area to get it out there.
It's definitely a demand on my mother's part. It's not an option. It's like, hey, and then she'll go, you don't have cash? She has Cash App. I'll give you
Go moms. I love y'all moms. Love it. Miss Barry, how are we? Oh, did you already go? No. Yes. Can you share with us how we're following you and how we can purchase your books?
Yes, you can purchase my book again at all the usual places. I had another book years ago that I worked with a publisher on. This time I self-published, I'm self-promoting. I am networking like crazy. I'm knocking on doors now that the pandemic. I was in Ohio this past weekend, which is where I grew up. And I went to every bookstore there and they said, about my book. And they said, well, we usually promote local authors, as you were saying, Christine, your local thing. So I said, well, I'm still local. My parent, my father still lives here. He's 94, but I got a local address if that's what you need to make me
Right.
work. Okay. And so I've done the same thing in Atlanta. I've gone to the bookstores in the last month or so to talk to them and to get them to promote, let me do book signings and those kinds of things. And then more importantly, the most important thing is I have the hospital promoting.
Oh, that's
Good.
really good.
Even though they're a big part of the book and they read,
Yeah, that's
and I have
wow.
them promoting it, and I'm also trying to push them to put it in one of the classes.
Wow. If you
Yeah.
can do that, you
Yeah,
are
I'm
the
working.
bomb.
I'm so
That's really
close.
good.
Y'all pray for that because
Yes,
that would be
we
big.
will.
Yeah.
We will. She's like, look, I'm talking about y'all, but y'all also going to sell this book.
Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it, ladies. This has been a great evening with all of you. You are all powerhouses, and I just love your energy. I hope you'll stay connected. Um, Everyone that is watching, I hope that you will support these ladies, follow them, purchase their books. It sounds like a great read, all of them, from the children's book to those that are for adults. So please, please, please make sure that you are supporting. If you are watching the replay, tell your friends, tune into this. I'm going to make sure I give you all the link so that you can also share the replay. But again, thank you so much for being here this evening.
I just wanted to add one more thing, if I can. I want to thank all the schools that also have supported my books. But if there are more schools that are interested in me becoming a motivational speaker at your school to talk about bullying, please let me know. Or if you would like me to come and to share my stories at your school, please reach out to me. It will be my pleasure.
Love it. Excuse me. Great. So again, wish you all the best. Great success to all of you. Keep doing things to make us be the great, make people see the greatness that is in all of us, because that's what we need. Yes, ma'am.
So shameless plug, we have started the Good Girl Tour.
Oh, yay.
The first, I guess, major event this Saturday. And it's all on my pages and everything. I'm doing a pop-up shop in Baltimore. It's a Juneteenth celebration from 3 to 8. It's a cook-in because we're inside, we're air
Okay.
cicadas. We don't play that. So, and then June 26th, I'm doing a sign-in in Marley Station Mall. July 17th, I'll be in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
And August 7th, I will be in Atlanta. So it's the Good Girl Tour. Oh, and then August, I'm back home in Baltimore for the Black Authors Expo. Like I said, it's all on all of my pages, and I'll keep updating you guys. So you come join me on this tour. Be a good girl for a second. Get a little habit every day, however you want to do it. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun summer. It's the Good Girl Summer Tour.
Awesome. And can you
Yes.
put that information, make sure everybody also in the Facebook chat, not the Zoom chat, but in the Facebook chat, if you'll always also leave your links and, any publications or anything that you'd like to share with the viewers as well. Anybody else have anything they need to say before we close?
Thank you so much for this platform.
Yes, thank you.
I'm so honored to be able to chat with amazing women such as yourself. So I am great. I'm truly appreciative.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and even for saying that. And I know that you guys will stay connected to each other as well, because most of these authors always make, like, I don't know if it's lifelong relationships, but I think I've seen many start to work together beyond this. So just sometimes, kind of let me know what you guys are doing. I'll be following and supporting as best as I can as well, ladies. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a great evening.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Take care, ladies.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Y'all too.
Okay.
Awesome. Amazing. So as I shared with you opening up the show that this was going to be a phenomenal show this evening. And these ladies are, like I said, so power packed. Like each of them, what their stories are, how they are writing and getting their message out there, the why behind it, and just persevering and finding every avenue possible, to get their books seen, read. I just feel like they were a group that's just like not taking no for an answer, not taking any shorts. And it takes that. It takes that in a business where there are so many people that do what you do, because the reality of it is everybody has a story. And there's so many people that will go beyond and write their story and get their stories published. Now, the hard part oftentimes for authors is the marketing. How do we get, our books in front of readers, audiences, viewers? But these ladies are making it happen. So I'm sure you can get a lot of tips, a lot of advice, connects with them, as well as you can support them by purchasing their books and following them. And if you're on their pages, you're probably going to see some of the things that they're doing and get some creative ideas yourselves as well. So that's what this is all about, supporting Black authors, us being true to ourselves, sharing our stories, and helping each other grow, moving us a step further than where we were before. And that's what happens when a community comes together. That's what happens when a people, support each other. So it's been a great evening. I'm elated as always. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sharing. And even again, as you're watching the replay, continue to support, come back, catch us next Wednesday with Celebrating Black Literacy. Catch us tomorrow with Authors Chat. Check us out next Tuesday with Kids Talk Tuesdays. The babies will be on. It's just a great time here at the King's Press. Thank you all for all you do. And I hope that you will follow and connect with us as well at www.kingspresspublishing.com. And you can connect with me here on Facebook at Manisha King, but our business pages are The King's Press LLC on Facebook and Instagram. So any way that we can be of service to you, if you're interested in a promotion spot, or you're interested in publishing, you're interested in consultation, whatever way that we can bring your story to life for you or to help you along your journey, give us a contact, give us a contact, give us a shout, contact us, and we will be more than happy to help you. Have a phenomenal evening. And as always, continue to be a light and give love all around to whomever you're connected to, wherever you go. This world needs it. So take care, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. I always hit that. Good night.